So that takes us to Indiana, which I think everyone agrees right now has gone from, a team that made the playoffs last year, lost in the first round. They were building all these young pieces, of course, Caitlin Clark, to now an immediate contender with all the moves.
I can't, bro. Sheryl Swoopes is willing to lie about her own career before she even admits that Caitlin.
The WNBA is no stranger to debates and strong opinions, but things recently got heated when Sheryl Swoopes made a shocking claim about the Indiana Fever. She suggested that many players on the team don't even want to be there. That's when Sue Bird stepped in. The WNBA legend wasn't having it. She defended the Indiana Fever, praised their new roster, and made it clear that Sheryl Swoopes was out of line. With Caitlin Clark, Natasha Howard, and other key players, Sue Bird believes that Indiana isn't just a team on the rise, they're a contender. So, was Sheryl Swoopes just being brutally honest? Or was she trying to downplay Caitlin Clark's impact on the WNBA? We're breaking it all down right now. But before we dive in, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to NBA Showdown for the latest WNBA news, heated debates, and in-depth analysis. Now, let's get into it. Sheryl Swoopes didn't hold back when talking about the Indiana Fever. She claimed, "There are many players on the Indiana Fever team that don't even want to be there." That's a bold accusation. She's essentially saying that some players aren't committed, don't care about winning, or aren't happy being on the team. But is there any truth to what she's saying? Sure, not every player in the league is thrilled about their situation. But to suggest that multiple players on a team don't want to be there, that's a huge insult to the organization, the coaching staff, and the players who are putting in the work every day. This comment also comes at a time when Indiana Fever is making major moves. They have a young superstar in Caitlin Clark and key players who are stepping up. That's why Sue Bird wasn't going to let this slide.
People in the Fever were like,
that's not my point. There's a lot of other going on that players are like, this ain't where I want to be.
Over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some new shit going on around there.
It's a lot. So you have players that are very significant on this Indiana Fever team that are like, I don't
want to be here.
Sue Bird immediately shut down Sheryl Swoopes' narrative. She pointed out that Indiana Fever is a team on the rise. Indiana was a team that made playoffs last year, lost in the first round, and they are building on these players such as Caitlin Clark. That is now an immediate contender with all the moves that Indiana Fever made. This is a completely different perspective from what Sheryl Swoopes claimed. Indiana Fever isn't a struggling team with unmotivated players. They're a team that made the playoffs, gained experience, and are adding the right pieces to go even further. And let's be real, Caitlin Clark's arrival changes everything. She's a game changer, a leader, and someone who instantly makes Indiana more competitive. So why would Sheryl Swoopes downplay Indiana's potential? Could it be jealousy over Caitlin Clark's rising popularity?
So that takes us to Indiana, which I think everyone agrees right now has gone from, a team that made the playoffs last year, lost in the first round. They were building all these young pieces, of course, Caitlin Clark, to now an immediate contender with all the moves.
Sue Bird didn't just talk about Caitlin Clark. She also highlighted another key piece of Indiana's success. Natasha Howard stands out. I loved playing with her, and she's the type of player that never got enough shine. Whatever she does never shows up in the box score, and this is the type of player that complements what Indiana is doing. Natasha Howard is one of those players who doesn't always get the headlines, but her impact is undeniable. She plays tough defense, grabs key rebounds, makes the hustle plays, and does the little things that help teams win. Every great team needs players like her. This is a huge contrast to what Sheryl Swoopes implied. Instead of saying players don't want to be there, Sue Bird is highlighting the players who are stepping up and making Indiana a stronger team. So, who's right? Sheryl Swoopes with her negative take, or Sue Bird, who sees a team on the verge of greatness? People listen.
I think Natasha Howard certainly stands out. I loved playing with Tosh.
But you cannot say enough about
Tosh. I really enjoyed playing with her. I think she really is she's just this glue player that doesn't get enough shine for what she does, because a lot of what she does doesn't show up in the box score, but she just is like always in the right place at the right time. And a player like that, I think, complements what Indiana is.
Another big factor in Indiana's growth? The coaching staff. Sue Bird pointed out something that many people overlooked. The biggest part for DB joining this team is that she has already played for Stephanie White. I think that will help bridge the gap. And Stephanie White has coached DB. And now Stephanie is the head coach of Indiana. This is a game changer. When a player joins a team with a coach they already trust and understand, it makes the transition so much easier. DB, likely referring to Derica Hamby or another key player, will have the comfort of playing under a coach she already knows, which can make a huge difference in performance. Sue Bird is seeing the bigger picture. Indiana Fever isn't just building a talented roster, they're putting players in positions to succeed. Meanwhile, Sheryl Swoopes seems to ignore these positives and focus on a narrative that doesn't match reality. So, is Sue Bird exposing Sheryl Swoopes' outdated views on the WNBA? Or is this just a difference in perspective? Foundation.
The biggest part of DB joining this team is that she's already played for Steph. So I think that's going to help bridge the gap, because as we go along, we're going to talk about Vegas and Seattle, Atlanta. It's really going to be which
Stephanie
team.
White being the head coach of,
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. Thank you.
Was the head coach of Connecticut, now the head coach of Indiana.
Yeah. So it's really going to be the team that finds their chemistry. This season is short. I mean, they're adding games, but it's still pretty short season.
Short, yeah, still short.
And it's
Still
going to
just
be the
summer.
team that finds chemistry. So having Stephanie White there, having already coached DB.
While Sue Bird was busy praising Indiana Fever's growth and potential, others weren't holding back on calling out Sheryl Swoopes for her take. Crash Out King, a well-known basketball analyst, directly called out Swoopes for her questionable statements. Sheryl Swoopes is willing to lie about her own career just to say that Caitlin Clark has been dominant. This is a bold accusation. He's essentially saying that Swoopes is distorting the truth, possibly to diminish Caitlin Clark's impact on the WNBA. But why would she do that? Could it be that she sees Clark's rapid rise as a threat to her legacy? After all, Clark has already shattered records and brought new attention to the WNBA in ways that few players ever have. The way Sheryl Swoopes is talking about Indiana Fever makes it seem like she has a personal issue with Caitlin Clark's rise to stardom. But is that the real story? Or is she just struggling to accept how much the game has changed? Sue Bird's words stand in direct opposition to Swoopes' claims. She's embracing the WNBA's new era, while Swoopes seems to be fighting against it.
Man, I can't, bro. Sheryl Swoopes is willing to lie about her own career before she even admits that Caitlin.
If there was any doubt about Indiana Fever's potential, Caitlin Clark herself cleared it up. She directly addressed the leadership and experience within the team. Players that have been in Indiana Fever know what it takes to win. They know what it takes to get to the finals. They know what it takes to win championships. These people aren't just really good basketball players, but they are also amazing leaders. This completely contradicts what Sheryl Swoopes was saying. Instead of painting a picture of disinterested and unmotivated players, Caitlin Clark is highlighting the experience, leadership, and determination within the team. Indiana Fever isn't a group of players who don't want to be there. They're veterans, competitors, and winners. And with Caitlin Clark leading the way, they're looking to prove everyone wrong, especially the doubters like Sheryl Swoopes. At this point, it's clear. Sheryl Swoopes' comments don't hold up. Sue Bird and Caitlin Clark have completely dismantled her argument. So, was Swoopes just out of touch? Or is this a deeper issue about her inability to accept Caitlin Clark's dominance? One thing is for sure. Sue Bird put her in her place.
About the experience, the champions that have been added to this one.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what everybody talked about when we were in the playoffs last year of, we really didn't have much experience at all playing in playoff games. I don't know what the exact number was, but we really lacked in that area. So just adding pieces of, players that have been in this league, they know what it takes to win. They know what it takes to get to the finals. They know what it takes to win championships. I think it's exactly what we needed in our locker room. So it's just exciting, but also they're not only really good basketball players, they're really great leaders and really great people. And I know the front office obviously really prioritized that and looking for the pieces that we wanted to add. So really.
Now, it's time for you to weigh in. Was Sheryl Swoopes wrong to make those comments? Or was she just being brutally honest? And do you agree with Sue Bird and Caitlin Clark's defense of Indiana Fever? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to NBA Showdown for the latest WNBA debates, player breakdowns, and expert analysis. We'll see you in the next one.